Live, local, late breaking. This is WDSU News at 6.
A shocking outcome today in criminal court as the man accused of killing New Orleans police officer Daryl Holloway found to be incompetent to stand trial. Good evening, I'm Sala Kim.
And I'm Sean Kreisman. Questions now surround the safety of criminal court after Travis Boys brought feces into a courtroom yesterday. We begin tonight with team coverage of today's court findings. WDSU's Jennifer Crockett, she is up first with how the unfolding events caused the murder trial to stop in its tracks. Jennifer.
Well, Officer Holloway's family says they understand the judge's decision to rule Boys incompetent today, but they say that doesn't make it easy. And after all they've been through, they can't help wonder if things could still get worse.
Whether or not he's forfeited his right to be present at the trial and to be physically in the courtroom during the trial based on the shenanigans that he pulled in court.
Officer Daryl Holloway's uncle, a practicing attorney, can't help but wonder if Travis Boys' bizarre behavior in court Wednesday is a trend, something he's done before. Back in 2015, Boys is accused of somehow getting a gun into Officer Holloway's patrol car and shooting the 22-year veteran during a transport. And on Wednesday, he snuck something else into court. According to testimony Thursday, Boys had filled a commissary bag with feces while still at the jail, carrying it in his pants to the courthouse. After 6 hours of jury questioning, Boys took out the bag and smeared feces across his face, even eating it.
Yesterday was the worst I've seen in my 28 years of practicing.
The incident triggered another competency hearing, resulting in the judge finding Boys unfit to stand trial and ordering him sent to a state hospital.
Judge Herman is a very smart and very deliberate judge. She's going to do what's necessary to protect the record and to see that justice is done. She's very fair, very competent. I have all the faith in the world in her. I thought she did the right thing today.
If and when this trial continues, Travis Boys faces first-degree murder charge, which could send him to jail if convicted for life. Reporting live at Orleans Criminal District Court, I'm Jennifer Crockett, WDSU News.
All right, Jennifer, so what happens next now that Boys has been found incompetent? Does he stay in jail? Does he go to a mental health facility?
WDSU's Tammy Eswick spoke with a legal analyst to find out more about the future of Boys. She continues our live team coverage. Tammy.
Well, Sean and Sulla, the quick answer is both. He will return to jail, but Boys is scheduled to get the next bed available at the state hospital when there is one, and that could take some time. Now, talking about this case today, he's going to be there and be closely evaluated. So doctors will want to see how he reacts to the staff, other inmates, and whether he's playing checkers or even having a simple conversation. All of that will be monitored. Now, this will help the court to figure out if Boys had a legit psychiatric episode or not. The DA's office is upset over this turn of events, sending out a lengthy statement saying in part this afternoon the city of New Orleans sunk to a new low when we turned control of our criminal justice system over to an accused murderer who killed a dedicated police officer on film. But attorney Robert Jenkins says this portion of the case has nothing to do with guilt or innocence.
The evidence is overwhelming in this case against Mr. Boys, but to go through a trial that's going to be very lengthy and perhaps have it reversed on appeal, and you got to bring the family to go back to it again, it's very hard and very difficult.
Well, the jury has been asked to come back on Monday. That's just in case the Fourth Circuit does rule in the DA's favor, overturning the judge's decision. Live from criminal court, Tammy Eswick, WDSU News.
Tammy, thank you. Tomorrow will be the visitation for NOPD officer Marcus McNeil. He was killed last Friday in New Orleans East. The services will begin at 5:30 p.m. at D.W. Rhodes Funeral Home. And another visitation and the officer's funeral will be held Saturday morning at the Household of Faith Church. And today, the NOPD sent out the details for the motorcade procession, which will pass by the department's 7th District Station on Dwyer Road. Those wanting to show the officer's family support can stand on the side of the roadway between Bundy and Reed Boulevard as the procession of vehicles pass. The procession will end at Mount Olivet Cemetery, where Officer McNeil will be interred.
It has been just under a week since the elections, and election officials have named Kristen Palmer as the winner of the New Orleans District C Council seat after a rare recount requested by incumbent Nadine Ramsey. At first count, Kristen Palmer beat out Ramsey for the District C seat by 112 votes. After the recount, only one vote was found for Ramsey, changing the final vote to 111 in favor of Palmer. Officials with the Secretary of State's office and the Board of Elections gathered at the City Council chambers to begin that recount, going through paper ballots one by one, again finding Kristen Palmer the official winner of the District C seat. So here's what your New Orleans City Council will look like in 2018. Elena Moreno and Jason Williams have the 2 council-at-large seats. Joe Giarrusso will represent District A, Kristen Palmer, District C, and Jared Brissett was the winner of the District D seat. The District B and E seats, those are up for grabs, with runoff races to be decided between Seth Bloom and Jay Banks and James Gray and Cindy Wynn. The winners of those races will be decided November 18th, along with races for New Orleans mayor and the state's treasurer's position. Early voting for the runoff elections will be November 3rd through the 11th.
And now to Commitment 2018, with the election for a new Jefferson Parish sheriff less than 6 months away. 2 candidates have emerged, with others likely to join the race. And pollsters are already tracking the pulse of voters on that, and they're also tracking their approval of Parish President Mike Yennie. WDSU's Casey Ferran is live in Metairie with a look at that. Casey.
Yeah, Colonel John Fortunato is actually hosting his official announcement party here tonight at the balcony. You can see people lining up, supporters going in here behind me. Now, this UNO survey says that if voters went to the polls today, Fortunato would have a large lead over acting Sheriff Joe Lopinto. And as for Parish President Yennie, they say he's a very low approval rating. What are Jefferson Parish residents looking for in their sheriff?
I want to feel safe. I want to feel safe in my neighborhood, and I want someone who's had experience in that area.
I'm looking for someone who's going to keep the crime down. Kind of in Metairie over the last, it seems like 2 or 3 years, you've had a good bit of crime kind of stem up, and it's just kind of really disturbing. With a special election for Jefferson Parish Sheriff coming in March 2018, UNO surveyed 426 voters to gauge how people will vote. 44% said they vote for retired sheriff spokesperson Colonel John Fortunato. 19% said acting Sheriff Joe Lopinto. 37% were undecided. Do you know who you're going to vote for yet? No, not yet. Not yet. It's still kind of early.
I think I'm leaning towards Mr. Fortunato. Again, he's got experience, and I know he's been involved heavily in Jefferson Parish politics and law enforcement for a while.
The UNO poll also asked voters what they think of Parish President Mike Yennie's performance. 29% approved, 45% disapprove, and 25% said they don't know.
I think it speaks worlds. Considering, what happened and the scandal that happened, a lot of people are willing to kind of, brush it under the rug, but it's kind of hard when you have elected official having inappropriate contact with with a student.
I don't know how he survived this scandal, to be honest with you. He seems to have rebounded well from that incident, and he seems to be moving the parish forward.
About the low approval rating, Yennie's chief administrative officer Keith Conley said he's in the trenches with Yennie every day and couldn't be prouder to work with Yennie because of his ability and his strengths. Still, political analysts say Yennie's electoral challengers in 2019 will find him a very vulnerable incumbent. And other people being mentioned in the pool of possible candidates for sheriff are former Parish President John Young, who spoke to me today saying he is still seriously considering a run for sheriff. Also, the Chief Administrative Officer, Keith Conley, who says he also is considering throwing his hat into this race and looking to get his team of supporters together. And again, this race will be happening in March of 2018. Reporting live, I'm Casey Ferran. Back to you.
All right, Casey, thank you. An organized crime ring busted on the North Shore. How a $7 restaurant bill gave police their break in the case.
Checking the air quality in Kidder, what testing found following Sunday night's oil platform explosion.
And it was another really nice day today, but your rain chances are going up when we are at risk for severe storms.
New tonight, the air in Kenner is safe. That is the finding from air quality tests after Sunday night's platform explosion on Lake Pontchartrain. Clovelly Oil Company, which owns the rig, hired the company to run the tests of the air in Kenner, and results released today show that there is no health concern. The Williams Boulevard boat launch has also been reopened to the public. 8 men were on that platform when it exploded on Sunday. 3 of them remain in the hospital. 1 man is still missing. The Coast Guard has called off its search for him, but the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, Fire Department, and Kenner Police Department are all still looking for the missing man.
2 men walked out on their bill at the Waffle House in Pearl River, causing local police to respond only to stumble on a much bigger crime. Pearl River authorities arrested 2 men. That's Richard Brown of Indiana and Sayshawn Stevens of California. There they are, both in town to place illegal credit card skimmers inside local gas pumps. While police confiscated fake ID cards, counterfeit credit cards, and credit card skimming devices, the suspect rented a van with the side opening doors that would hide them as they installed these skimmers inside the gas pumps.
And now you have an obscured area to where you can open the gas pump without being seen, stick the device inside, close the gas pump up, and then drive off.
The crazy part of it is that they could have paid the bill with another stolen credit card that they had on their possession. Instead, for whatever reason, they decided to walk out on the bill.
So authorities are urging motorists to check gas pumps for broken stickers that show the pump like this has not been illegally opened or tampered with, as well as checking your credit card statements. Well, it was a showcase of epic proportions, and hundreds of people got a front row seat to it all. See what was blasting off at the Stennis Space Center today.
And let's look at prime time on WDSU tonight. It is Superstore at 7, followed by The Good Place at 7:30. Will and Grace at 8. Great News at 8:30, and Chicago Fire airs at 9. And then join us for WDSU News at 10, followed by The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
Live, local, late breaking. This is WDSU News at 6 with Scott Walker, Sulla Kim, Chief Meteorologist Margaret Orr, and sports with Fletcher Mackel.
Soccer fans are taking over the Mercedes-Benz Superdome tonight for the highly anticipated game between the U.S. women's national soccer team and South Korea. The last time the team was here, it was in 2015. More than 30,000 people filled the dome. The kickoff to the doubleheader with South Korea starts right here in the Crescent City in less than an hour now. WDSU's Sharif Ishak and Fletcher Mackel are both down at the Superdome, and they will have more on tonight's game coming up later on in sports.
And New Orleans Saints fans looking to get set sail for their next getaway can look to the black and gold for their next chance. The Saints and Carnival Cruise Line are teaming up to make a memorable escape for lucky members of the Who Dat Nation. Here's how you get your chance. Each time the Saints pass for more than 300 yards in a game this season, a fan is entered into the sweepstakes, but you do have to register online to be entered. The contest runs for the entire regular season. Okay, you ever wonder what it's like to see a rocket launch off into space? Well, hundreds of people got to see what it's like by seeing the engine that propels astronauts into space.
Today was the Stennis Space Center's open house, giving people an inside look at NASA's Space Launch System. WDSU's Damon Singleton is there to show us how it's done.
Hey guys, we're out here at the Stennis Space Center for the Founders Day open house, and there's thousands of people out here enjoying great weather and learning a lot about what goes on here at the Stennis Space Center. But one of the big things that we're out here for, and the primary reason we're out here, is because they're testing a new rocket engine out here that's going to propel humans into space. And I'm here with Kenny Herbert, who's one of the engineers on this project. And Kenny, I'm just fascinated by this whole thing. And can you tell us a little bit about it?
Right, so what we're testing today is the RS-25 rocket engine, tested and developed here at Stennis Space Center, and it's going to be one of the 4 rocket engines that are at the bottom of the Space Launch System, and that's our Mars spacecraft, or Deep Space spacecraft. And the engine that we're testing today is actually the first one we're testing on Exploration Mission 2, which is going to be our first human flight into space. Wow,
that's all fascinating stuff. And if you're wondering what the engine that he's talking about, Kenny, why don't you point it out?
Yes. So you see these 2 engines at the bottom. You can only see 2, but there's 4 on the thing on the rocket itself, but it's those 2 at the bottom.
Wow, and that is what's going to propel this whole apparatus beyond Earth's gravitational force, and of course the Orion spacecraft on top is what is eventually going to go to Mars.
Yes, that's correct.
Wow, so fascinating stuff out here at the Stennis Space Center, and this rocket test, it's really amazing. Back to you guys in the studio.
Hey, Damon, that is really cool. You lucky guy that you got to go out there. So we're looking out the window, sunset 6:26, but wait, you got to see this great twit pic. This is from Staying Encouraged. And do you see the alligator? I see an alligator. Sella, Sean, do y'all see it? Yeah, I see it. Is that cool?
Yeah, look at him.
Where? I loved
He's about
it.
to eat Margaret's graphic.
All right, it's going to be warmer Friday. Again, low to the mid-80s, a slight chance of rain, more likely along the coast, but we will have more activity than what we had today. Rain and some storms on Saturday, and then your rain and storm chances are going up on Sunday, just expect it. The potential, too, that we could have severe storms. Looking at what's happening now, we've got a little bit of rain along the coast. That's it. It's moving off to the west. Really not a factor for tonight. High pressure to our north. We've got this onshore flow, and the wind has really been increasing. That's going to be pushing some water on those east-facing shorelines. Rain is increasing over in Texas and actually along the coast of Florida, too. This is what we're watching. This is the next cold front that's going to move our way and cause our rain chances to go up. Right now, it's causing some really heavy rain in the northwest and finally bringing some much-needed rain into northern California. We just hope that it's not too much at one time. But for us, the weather was great today. Had a high of 83, the average 79 degrees. About the area, we were in the low to the mid-80s, and that was about 2 to 5 degrees warmer than we were yesterday. Right now, it's 78 degrees. We can check out our temperatures, mid to the upper 70s, 80 over towards Belle Chase. So really pleasant this evening. A little bit of a breeze, and at times that wind is really gusting. So at 9 o'clock, upper 60s to the low 70s. This isn't one of those sweater nights. Then as we go into the morning, it is going to be cool in the morning, mid to the upper 50s North Shore, low 60s for South Mississippi, and then the mid to the upper 60s on the South Shore. Looking at tomorrow, very similar to today, low to the mid 80s. You will notice the humidity beginning to go up. Now here we are looking at Friday. We see that potential for some rain, but your rain chances are higher going into Saturday. High temperatures mid 80s. Looks like the better chance of rain is going to be more to the west, but as we go into your Sunday, it is simply not looking good. Cold front's going to be pushing through with the potential for an area of low pressure too. We can expect to have some strong storms, potentially severe. That's going to be on your Sunday. So we're looking at Saturday, and the red is really the 2 to 4 inch rainfall. So not as much for the North Shore and South Mississippi, but here we are looking at Sunday, and we really see that rain chance going up. Here another perspective just indicating how rain chances go up as well for your Saturday and then Sunday. Yeah, it's going to be a rough go. That cold front is going to move through and then bring us better weather Tuesday through Thursday. So for tomorrow, a few more clouds move in during the day, that 20% chance of rain, higher rain chance for your Saturday. Sunday is a time period where we have the potential for locally heavy rain and some strong storms that could include strong gusty winds and even some large hail. And then great Tuesday through Thursday.
Margaret, thank you. Next in sports, we'll hear from Pelican star Anthony Davis about the team's disappointing season opener last night in Memphis. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, Sharif Ishak and Fletcher Mackel in the Superdome with your sports in just over an hour. The U.S. women's national team would take on South Korea in a friendly, and Fletcher, the fans are going to be in for a treat. A historically very good team the U.S. women's national team is. They have 4 gold medals and 3 World Cup titles, the most recent one 2015.
And this is actually the 3rd time the U.S. women's national team has played here in New Orleans since 2000. Back in 2003, they took on Brazil in Tad Gormley Stadium in City Park. And less than 2 years ago, December of 2015, they were playing here against China. It was famed player Abby Wambach's last game.
Definitely a memorable one, and the crowd showed up for sure. So it was awesome, and it's always good to be back here. You know, we love being here, and we're excited to play and hopefully put on a good match.
Carly Lloyd is, of course, the U.S. women's national team captain. The next big international tournament for the women, 2019, the World Cup in France. And the women are now the flag bearers for American soccer. The U.S. men's national team eliminated from World Cup contention. They will not be playing in the World Cup next summer in Russia.
Hopefully the impact is not that big, but it's never a good thing for us when they don't qualify or when they don't do well. I think the times when both of our teams have been really successful is the best times for everyone.
Again, tonight's match starts at 7:30. We'll have all the highlights and the post-match reaction coming up tonight on WDSU News at 10.
All right, Fletcher, on to your favorite team, the New Orleans Pelicans. Bad start to the season in Memphis last night, lost 103-91. It was just ugly all the way around. In fact, the only 2 players who played that well in that game, Boogie Cousins and Anthony Davis, they scored 61 points combined. The Grizzlies bench outplayed the Pelicans bench, outscoring them 53-8.
That was just sad. It couldn't have been a worse start to a highly anticipated campaign, but it is just one of 82. Still 81 games left to go, so Anthony Davis still confident, certainly not panicking just yet.
I think we played extremely hard. We moved the ball a lot in that first half. You know, playing for each other, trusting each other, but just something that we got to look at on the film and just see what we can improve on and also look at some things that we did right.
All right, late tip-off between the Warriors and Pelicans inside the blender, 8:30 on ESPN. And Fletcher, as you would say, the Warriors are going to come in salty after losing to the Rockets on banner night.
That's right, a tough matchup for the Pelicans. Coming up tonight at 10 o'clock, we're going to talk about another matchup, the Saints matchup this Sunday in Green Bay against the Packers. No Aaron Rodgers. He's, of course, out with a broken collarbone. We'll hear from Brett Hundley, who'll make his first NFL start this Sunday afternoon.
For Fletcher Mackel, I'm Sharif Ishak. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you guys. And for those who are probably heading out to the Superdome late tonight, what's the weather going to look like?
So totally fine for tonight. Weather really cooperates. Go out and enjoy. And then as you go through the weekend, yep, that's when your rain chances are going up.
We'll need the umbrella. All right, thank you, Margaret.
We'll see you back here at 10.
Have a good night.